knows, we are recording this webinar so that we can post it later for the folks that can't join. And Colleen will share that with everyone after the meeting. I am so excited to introduce our guests today. But first, if you haven't been on the webinars before, my name is Serena Bishop Gordon. This will be my 7th year racing Oregon Trail, and I'm the founder of Special Blend Gravel. Oregon Trail is just a really special event. It's a race, but it's also just like the best week of the summer. So I feel really lucky to keep getting invited back. We also have Colleen, who is the mastermind of all logistics and really just wants to ensure everybody has a great experience at Oregon Trail. And then we have our 3 special guests. So I'm going to share my screen real fast so that we can get our presentation. Here we go. Whoa. Oh, it's going to take me a second. Well, oh, here we go. Got it. Let's see. Can you guys see that? Let's see. Yeah? Okay. Okay. Awesome. So Sean, we'll start with you.
Okay. My name's Sean. I am the marketing manager for Schwalbe North America. I've been with Schwalbe for 16 years and have probably too much knowledge about tires and various other things at this point, but we're also the title sponsor of Oregon Trail, and we've partnered with the Breakaway team on this event for, we're going into our 4th year as title sponsor and 5th year helping. And so everybody, you're in for an amazing adventure. It's one of our favorite weeks of the year. And so, yeah, I'm just here today to share some product knowledge and some other things to get you through the trail and make sure you guys all have a great
Awesome. Thanks, Sean. And Schwalbe definitely makes best tires in the business, and you're going to learn all about them today. Matt?
Hey guys, I'm Matt, Matt Hornland. I do a lot of things at Fox, Raceface, Easton, Marzocchi. For our intents and purposes, almost all focused on Fox and Easton cycling here. I've been with the team here for 9 years. I am the PR and content, marketing content manager for these brands. But I also organize and run our Easton Overland team, which is a gravel racing team. I'm kind of the gravel guy within the company. Maybe that's passed down from Craig Ritchie, who was here before. But yeah, the Oregon Trail is really incredible event. We've had a lot of athletes there. I haven't unfortunately been able to go myself, but I watch excitedly from the sidelines. I do have a ton of experience with supporting athletes. I have done a ton with supporting from, say, World Tour teams to, again, our privateer programs, and want to share some insights on, choices around Easton stuff, but also like, you guys are within a week of doing the event. So some pragmatic choices as you go. So yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining, Matt. And Christine?
Hi, I'm Christine. I work for Castelli. Thank you so much for having me, Serena. I've been working with Breakaway since I started with Castelli over 4 years ago. And as a brand, we've worked with Breakaway, I don't even know, since the beginning, forever. Colleen can probably tell us. And it's an absolute pleasure to work with Chad and the whole Breakaway crew, as well as our sponsored athletes and partners in industry like Schwalbe and Matt at Fox. I spend a lot of time talking about apparel and chamois and what you should wear. And we're going to talk about chamois. I'm super excited. Oh yeah, Oregon Trail. I have done Oregon Trail twice, and it is the best week of summer for me. It's like adult summer camp. We ride bikes and we have fun and we laugh so hard our abs hurt.
Awesome. Thanks to you three for making the time. And as Matt mentioned, we are less than a week away from kicking things off. So hopefully the information we share with you today is stuff that you can execute between now and race day. And we're going to kick that off with tire selection. So Sean, will you, I'm going to just make sure I can, there we go. Talk a little bit about the tires that Schwalbe makes, the ones that are best for this particular race, and the pros and cons of each.
For sure. So at Schwalbe, specific to our gravel tire lineup, we try and make the choice as easy as possible for you. We have our top end line is the Pro line, which you see here. We also make a Schwalbe line of tires, which is very similar, made with a different rubber compound and different puncture protection belts, and it's a little more price point driven, but the tread patterns will be the same. So as we talk about these tire selections, know that there is 2 price points and a second option for you. And if you have questions on that, I'm happy to answer the differences specifically. But for this particular race, we do recommend our Pro line of tires. Specifically, they come with the fastest rolling compounds. It corners well, but it also has a Vectran puncture protection belt, which will help with puncture protection because the trail is notorious for having for having some hidden obstacles. You're going to go over a variety of terrain this week, from sharp volcanic lava rock to beautiful lush rainforests and everything in between. So I'm sure you've also heard about the notorious sand pit section. And so specifically, when we look at the tire lineup that you see ahead of you or in front of you, the recommendation that we make for Oregon Trail is kind of the best all-around tire for all conditions, because you will have a variety of conditions. And so the G1 RX Pro, which is on the left-hand side of the screen, is our tire recommendation. All 3 of these have the same casing, same puncture protection and everything, but the RX Pro tread pattern lends itself to being able to handle the widest variety of conditions. It has a nice open spread or open tread pattern on it. So if it does get wet, it will shed mud, but it still works really well on sand and also those more loamy conditions that you have on the west side of the mountains. And so as we move through, the fastest rolling of the 3 would be the G1 RS Pro. It rolls extremely fast, but it doesn't really have a tread to it. And so it just has some side mounts on it. So if you are a very confident bike handler and want the absolute fastest rolling to get through the week, we would recommend the RS Pro. And then the G1R Pro, again, it's an all-around tire, but the 2 models we mentioned previously kind of are both ends of the spectrum, and the RX Pro being the one that handles the widest variety of conditions. And so that's what our recommendation would be. Once somebody chooses the tread pattern, the next question we always get is what size? Recommendation is specific for Oregon Trail is run the highest volume tire that you can fit in your frame. For most, it's around a 50 millimeter tire. We make all of these tires in anywhere from a 40 up to a 60 millimeter width and 5 millimeter increments. But again, go based on the frame manufacturer's recommendation for maximum size, and go somewhere in the 45 to 50 millimeter range. There is a lot of climbing this year, and so, be on that 45 to 50 still offers the benefits of being light, but also high enough volume to get you through the sand pit section and offering additional grip. The one thing that all of us are here to talk about today is comfort and getting you through to make sure you are as comfortable as possible over the course of the week. And that is why with the higher volume tire, you can run a little bit lower pressure, taking out a lot of those large hits and small bump discomfort. I think all of us on screen are nodding right now because we all are fans of the higher volume. And also, as I mentioned, lower pressure. Tire pressure is the least expensive way to improve your bike. It's free. And dialing in that tire pressure is will improve everything on your bike. It will give you more grip. It will make you more comfortable, and it actually is not slower rolling. Specific to off-road cycling, which you will be doing, a lower pressure allows the tire to conform over objects and continue to move forward rather than bounce off of them and bounce energy back at you. So a lower tire pressure is typically better. As we dial in pressures, everyone's like, well, what's the right number? Basically, if you're over 35 PSI, you're likely running too high of pressure. It's based on body weight, it's based on tire volume to get the perfect one or perfect combination. But if you're over 35 PSI, you're on the wrong side of the correct number. And so we recommend specifically in a 45 to 50 millimeter tire that you start at 35 and work your way down to where you feel comfortable. Serena, for instance, is comfortable in that 21 to 23 PSI range. Matt nods his head. So most people are in the mid 20s at this point. So anywhere between 25 and 35 PSI will likely be that sweet spot for you. We will have 2 staff members on site at the end of every stage. If you have questions, like come visit us at the tent. We're happy to spread knowledge and help you dial in that pressure based on your specific needs and setup that you have. And so that's the quick part of this. The other thing I would suggest with Schwalbe is stop by our tent and see our staff. There was mention of a roller dog machine. There is one that lives in our booth setup each day. And so, if that is to your liking, and there's certain things that maybe on day 1 or 2, you don't think it's for you, but by day 3, you'll just be like, give me whatever food I can have and bring me some comfort. And so please stop in and say hi to our staff as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sean. We had a couple questions come in. The 2 that popped up were, how do the Thunderbirds fit in with the 3 tires that you mentioned? And then if you were to bring 2 sets of wheels, one with the RX and one with the RS, what stages which tire set would be appropriate for which stages?
For sure. So the Thunderbird is always a big question. It's a mountain bike tire. Most popular size in gravel would be the 2.1 width, which is 54 millimeters wide. All of our mountain bike tires are designed around a 30 mil internal width rim. And so if your rim is narrower than 30 millimeters, the tire will become narrower when mounted. And so that Thunderbird on a 25 mil internal rim, which is the standard for gravel measurements, actually measures about 51 millimeters wide. So it's all nearly identical in width to our all of the gravel tires that you see here. All of the gravel tires are designed around a 25 mil internal. And so if you run a 50 mil gravel tire on a 25 mil internal, it will measure nearly identical to that Thunderbird. The major difference between the Thunderbird and the gravel tires you see in front of you is the puncture protection layer. So all of these gravel tires that you see has a Vectran puncture protection belt. The Thunderbird is made with a nylon puncture protection belt. And so it doesn't have the same puncture protection. It's about 10% less than our gravel tires. And that's for various reasons, but it's built on the same casing, using the same compound, but it just has a different puncture protection belt. So that's why our recommendation is always to go to our gravel tire lineup rather than running the Thunderbird. The next question, as far as bringing 2 wheel sets. If you have the ability to do that, it's a wonderful option. I would say, and Serena, you know the courses better than I do, but definitely stage 1, run the RX to get through the sand pit. Typically, once you get on the other side of the mountains, the RS works fairly well once you're on the west side of the mountains. But then once you come back over to the bend side, so stage 4 and stage 5 would also be the RX recommendation from what I've seen in the past and of the course that I've ridden. So Serena, would you agree with that sentiment?
I would agree, and I would also say that even on the courses from Mackenzie to Oak Ridge and the time trial day, there are still sections where having a little extra grip, especially on some of the descents, is really confidence inspiring. So having 2 sets isn't a bad idea. Just know that there's a trade-off. So it depends a lot on your confidence in bike handling as well when you make those choices. But definitely, without question, stage 1 and stage 5, you're going to want the RX.
For sure. I saw one more question pop up as I was speaking, and that was regarding are we selling tires on site? We actually do not have a way to accept payment on site. So we partner with local shops that you should purchase from beforehand. Sagebrush being the site or the shop that will be on site. They won't be selling on site, but we do offer free neutral service. So if you come in with a puncture or a torn sidewall or need new rim tape because there's issues there with a spoke going through rim tape or something like that, we're there to help you get through the race. And so we do offer free neutral service, and if it means replacing a tire, we will replace the tire for free. But do come prepared. Come prepared, have your bike checked out, have the right tires on your bike, and we are there in case of emergency. We're not just a free demo program, but we're there to help and make sure that everybody, if you get to the start line, you get to the finish line. And if there's a tire issue, we will help you out with it. And so you can come with confidence that a tire problem will not be what stops you from completing the race and getting your I Died with Dysentery t-shirt. And so, just like I said, you can come over, have a roller dog, we'll fix tire problems for you, and then make sure you're happy and ready to go. The other piece of this too that I think a lot of people don't figure out until day 2 or 3 is we also support the Schwalbe Saloon, which there is open beverages, whether that's alcoholic, non-alcoholic. You can hit the Schwalbe Saloon, have a roller dog, get through your woes from the day while we service your bike for you as well.
Yeah, and Sean, you bring up a really good point. The line at the Sagebrush Mechanics stand after stage 1 is so long. And so I recommend between now and next Wednesday morning, take your bike to a shop, make sure if there's any question, it's so much better to be proactive and have any sort of noises or questions taken care of before you get to the race. Also tighten your cleat bolts, tighten your stem bolts, just do a full bike check. And Matt can talk a little bit more about that, but don't wait until you need neutral service. Be proactive.
For sure. And the other recommendation, and it's something that I experienced over the weekend, I'm just returning from being at SBT this weekend, bring spare coin cell batteries and spare batteries for your bike. Shifters notoriously, they're working great, and then the coin cell in your shifter dies. I replaced, I believe, 11 of them on Sunday morning. And so I would highly recommend bringing spare 2030T batteries if you have electronic shifting for various reasons. That is the number one thing that I see people kind of panic about on the start line from day to day.
Yeah, that's great advice. One more question, Sean, and then we're going to move on. But Tim was asking, do the 55 G1s also mount narrower on a 26 millimeter rim?
The 55s do not. They measure, so if it's a gravel tire, it's measured on a 25 mil internal rim. So if you're looking for high volume, the 55 will measure true to size.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And great questions as well. So let's see. Matt, over to you. We're going to talk about a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I'll try to be fast. I think the, context wise, everyone's going to have a bike already set up most likely. I know a couple of the questions that came through maybe were a while back, so I may go quicker or not to say skip over anything, but as you guys may know, Easton offers the EC90 ALX crank. We just launched it, brand new guy. We have our cinch system, which is something people are maybe familiar with our race face cranks as well. It's just a single lock ring to get chain rings on there. So from our perspective, we offer a lot in the way of like either picking 1 or 2 systems. If you're in a situation like maybe some folks are, where you have 2 options for something like the Oregon Trail gravel race, or you're really trying to decide on future stuff, 1 or 2 offers a lot of difference. Bikes are getting a lot closer, where maybe there's not as wide a range of difference for those things, but reasons you might pick one or the other would be in a situation with like Oregon Trail, where we're looking for tire volume, 2 can limit that. Front derailleurs tend to limit your rear tire clearance. So that's why you'll see in a lot of situations like Unbound or things like that, you're like, well, they're riding for a long time. Why would they want less gearing options? Essentially, it's just a 1x12. The reality is clearance, chain retention, etc. However, if you're in a situation where, maybe you're not racing the pointy end, you're not wanting to push something like a 46, 44, or you want a little bit of that option across speed, a 2x offers smaller jumps between gears. So you're going to be able to, spin to your cadence as opposed to be forced to push over the top. A lot of us, short format gravel cyclocross guys are fairly used to running a weird chain ring setup and having to push those gears. So really, I think it's a lot about like comfort level and things like that. 1x reduces complications, but 2x offers a lot of gearing range. So, look at an elevation over how far you're going. That might make your decision as opposed to tire clearance. We also offer a couple of different wheel options. Our EC90 ALX is our sort of more aerodynamic wheel set for gravel, and then AX is a little more box section. They both have the same 24 millimeter internal width. So the benefits of either one of those is that the aero over time, especially over a number of stages where you might be pushing wind by yourself, there is a benefit there. If I've spoken with like Rob Britton, who's doing a lot of long distance riding, he pushes for the aero benefit as opposed to maybe the weight difference of a lower profile box rim. However, if you're doing a lot of up and then straight down where you want some of that strength of a box rim without the aerodynamics being as big of a concern, that's where you might switch over to do something a little bit more low profile. Either one, those have that the wider internal rim width. So we're looking at those as great gravel options for up to a 55. Realistically, a lot of people are limited to a 50 on their bikes. I have a Stigmata myself, and then a Cervelo R5 CX, and both of those rims work in either application. In terms of sort of like there's a question that came through about gravel versus mountain bike early on. I think most of us are under the understanding that gravel bike for these long distance events is going to do you better. Being in a more aerodynamic position than on the mountain bike, a little bit lighter weight for most people is going to be beneficial. And the situations where you might pick the mountain bike would be just if you're looking to reduce overall fatigue, like you're just concerned about, your back or something like that. I mean, part of it's bring the tool you got and don't get too caught up in whatever the pointy end's doing. But realistically, the gravel bike's going to be a better choice for the riding. That does take us to the gravel fork though. So Fox makes the 32 taper cast. It's a 40 or 50 millimeter travel fork. There's a ton of bikes out there that are suspension corrected. We have a number of our own athletes on them. again, on a multi-stage where we're looking to reduce fatigue, that added weight of a suspension fork can be a little bit confusing to people, especially if they've come from the road sphere where they're like, well, just lighter is better. But the reality is that if you're charging across multiple stages, multiple days, that hand fatigue can catch up to you, your shoulders, your neck. So the opportunity to have a little bit of suspension and relief, especially for a small bump, where it's like you're just tapping along, and tires can do a ton. They're going to be deforming over this stuff consistently, but once you start getting into continuous chatter, someone like Rob or myself, I did the Unbound 100 with the gravel fork. You can find a lot more essentially savings in energy by having a suspension fork. It all depends on what you're looking for. If you would rather, again, push that limit, push to the racer's edge, you'll find that gravel fork might not make the most sense for you. But if you're doing a lot of hard hitting the climbs and then descending through some of these more technical FSRs or Forest Service roads, that added comfort will come into play. And then finally, I think we're going to talk a little bit about tools and spares. I've done, I was on the ground for Amity Rockwell's first win at Unbound. I had to build a whole bike out of nothing the 2 days before. So you're maybe not traveling with the whole tool roll like I do. But I think Sean mentioned it. The reality is it'd be better, and Serena too, mentioned it's better to be able to prepare yourself than have to rely on folks on the ground. Sean mentioned the batteries thing. Cannot recommend more having an extra spares. You never remember anything when you're on the ground. Having those coin cells, having the extra battery for your derailleur, leave something charging, have a spare battery pack, whether it's dedicated to your bike or it's something that you share with your phone. Those sorts of things just make your life a little bit easier. I would also recommend just making sure to bring another derailleur hanger. If you're not in a situation where you have T-type or something like that, you got a unique bike, if it's possible, get yourself another derailleur hanger, pop it in your bag. There's nothing lamer than breaking your derailleur off, and really there's nothing else wrong. You just got to replace that hanger. That one is pretty heavy on my mind. Many people are traveling. CO2s might be something that you want or can carry. I'd actually start, I think, recommending digital pump these days. It can do a lot of the work. It can reinflate tires a lot easier. You might not trust it as if you get a true flat on the course, like a hole through your tire kind of situation. But it's better than, relying on the idea that you might not have a CO2. If you don't already have a multi-tool that collapses into itself, I do recommend those. There's lots of different options from One Up to Wolf Tooth. But if you're getting that sort of thing, one thing not to miss in those systems is you can often carry a quick link, but without a quick link plier, you can get into a lot of pain of trying to get those things apart. So I'd recommend trying to either include a quick link plier in those sorts of things, make sure it's in your in-frame storage or whatever, because that, a broken chain and having a quick link, you can't do anything unless you're able to split that chain. So those sorts of things are pretty key. And I think a lot of people have looked at Dynaplug's really rad. It's nice to have a quick access one, even just the double-ended speed racer one on your off the edge of your bottle cage or something like that. Just because once you've gotten that puncture and you can see it spraying sealing and trying to seal, being fast is good. It's better to be able to have something quick and jam it in there. Fumbling through your in-frame storage or whatever when you're kind of in a point where you need to get that sealant held in, it's better to have that thing at easy access. And I think that's, those are kind of main ones. I did want to say too, brake pads. One thing that can be frustrating showing up on course after travel or something like that is contaminated pads. having spares for your setup and spares that you like is better than not. So those I would recommend bringing too.
Awesome. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah,
I
for
really
sure.
appreciate that. And there will be a store at camp with some items, but
Ooh. Valve course.
oh yeah, good one.
A
And they're
tool
cheap.
and your own valve course. They're super cheap. Have your own. You know, a lot of people have like the thread-on style, where you're accidentally pulling it off or something like that. You know, I don't know everyone's wheel set, but like our wheels come with a little plastic guy that just is meant to tighten that stuff on. Any version of a valve core tool to save your butt in case you accidentally thread it out. So
Excellent. So as I was saying, there will be a camp store that has some options, but I think it's just better to plan ahead, have your list, go shopping between now and next Wednesday morning. Thank you so much, Matt. Anybody have questions? I just want to make sure there weren't any questions for you. I think we're good on that. Okay, Christine, we're moving on to you. Clothing. All right, everybody start taking notes because you're gonna be packing your bin pretty soon.
Yeah, I already started on mine, so I'm so excited. I'm that excited. Yeah, so clothing. You're going to be riding for 5 days, and it is so important that you start every day feeling good. I mean, as you can, especially on day 5. And that would mean 5 of everything. 5 pairs of bibs, 5 jerseys, at least 5 pairs of socks. If you wear sports bras, I would say 5 of those. If you're a base layer person, also 5 of those. I'm not a base layer person personally, because it's usually just too hot for an extra layer on these long days. And the way that I have found is pretty efficient is I pack every kit in a bag like this. And a lot of your apparel comes in these bags. You can use gallon bags or packing cubes, but I get excited. I lay every kit out and see my heart rate monitor is in there because I'm really good at getting all dressed and not putting that on. So it's there for day 1. So I have 5 of those, and it's a great way to put your dirty clothes back into that so they don't get thrown in everything else throughout your days on the trail because they can be pretty dirty. If you don't have 5 pairs of bibs, I think that's your top priority this weekend is to acquire a few more pairs. I've seen people wash them in the river. I've heard horror stories of different saddle sore situations over the years because of re-wearing bibs, and I can't emphasize it enough that you need 5 fresh pairs of bibs. And then I know we do have, we have our day in the middle that is sort of optional for some people, but it's always nice to have a backup in case. And those are the basics of what to wear. I also like to recommend a couple pairs of gloves. And we use these a lot if you have a crash and they rip. At least if you're a glove person, 2 pairs of gloves minimum. If you like to wash them every day, go for 5, but I would say 2 at the very minimum. I usually pack a couple short finger and my long finger gloves because they're comfortable. Some days are just really hot and short fingers feel good. So aside from that, make sure you pack your normal stuff for camping, including your shower bag, your towel, shower shoes, extra shoes, so you don't walk around in your bike shoes all week or barefoot. And that kind of brings us to how we pack our tote. And I do a lot of events and I travel quite a bit. I think I have 12 events this year that I've gone to, and I see different ways that people pack. And being efficient with how you pack is super important, especially Oregon Trail. The tote is very spacious, but you will look at all your stuff. You're like, how am I going to get it in there? I think it's really important that you pack your your tent and your sleeping bag or sleeping bag and whatnot on the bottom of your tote. Because when you come into camp each day, you're going to want to get out of your chamois. And if you're not feeling that, I'm going to tell you should get out of your chamois. Like, don't marinate. So as far as packing your tote, you want to pack the camping goods on the bottom and then maybe your extra clothes. And the last thing to go in there should be, I recommend your shower bag that has your shower stuff in it, your towel, a pair of sandals or whatever shoe you like to wear when you're done riding, and a stack. I know that we do have recovery as you come in, and we also have a snack shack. But if there's something specific that you like to have, if you have that right there right away, it's really nice to just grab a tote, throw it to wherever you're going to put up your tent. If you have a VIP tent, you just put your tote by your tent. And then you're able to just grab that shower stuff really easy and go change or go take a shower or go change, whatever you need to do. So the first thing you come into camp, go grab that tote that's nicely packed and all your good stuff's on top. Grab a recovery drink and go get out of your chamois. As far as tote packing, I think I can't emphasize enough. I've just seen people come in and the tote goes everywhere because they can't find what they want or their shoes are at the bottom. But yes, if you put those three things on the top, your shower, clothes bag, shoes, and a snack, it's going to make the whole rest of the day a whole lot easier. And then we have this really great option to do a drop bag. So if you're a super fast person that might come in before the truck with all the totes gets to the next camp, there's an old one, your drop bags. You'll get these little string bags. They're great. You can put your whatever you want for after or when you come in. Say it's maybe your shower bag or a change of clothes or your shoes. Those can go in there and make sure your name is on it. And those will be ready for you at camp when you come in from the trail in case you beat the tote truck to the location. These are super important. You'll see a lot of people utilize it for that. Yes, I think the more organized you can be when you're packing your tote, the better. I'm a big believer in packing cubes, keeping my casual clothes separate from my bike clothes. Also, all your little electronics or things that you put on your bike every day. I have a bag that has like my light, my head unit, my Dynaplug, my Garmin, has all the things in it. And I take this with me to the bike. All these things go on the bike in my pocket, and then my phone goes in that. And so when I'm done riding at the end of the day, I just switch out those things, because people always lose their Garmins and their Wahoos and every year. But it's really nice when I know I have them in one little package. Yeah. So that's I think we've covered ordered operations at camp. Come in, get your recovery, get out of your chamois, and maybe you're headed over to Schwalbe for a roller dog. I actually just roll in and get the roller dog and then eat the roller dog as I'm doing the other things, because a hot dog with ketchup and mustard after 80 miles of gnarly riding is the best hot dog you'll ever eat. And this year I will actually Castelli is hosting the coffee each morning. So coffee will be ready at 6 a.m. every day, and I will be there. And if I can make it work, maybe we'll have a little surprise. Maybe the tour will be on every morning. We'll see.
Awesome. Thank you, Christine. And I would just like to reiterate the get out of your chamois as soon as possible. Being a chamois police is something that I have a reputation for. So if I'm giving you a hard time because you're eating your sandwich and you've been in camp for 90 minutes and you still have on your chamois, don't be surprised. a couple questions came in, and I think Colleen might be the best equipped to answer them. One, how fast do you need to beat the tote truck? You have to be pretty fast, but I'm going to let Colleen answer that. And then the other one, Colleen, that came in is, are we able to hand off our morning bag at the start line, like in case it's chilly and we want to wear a jacket up to the start?
Okay, I'll address the tent or the totes first. Once you guys, we're loading the totes as soon as you bring them over to us. And then we have to drive the truck. Our longest drive is 2 hours. And once we get there, we have volunteers who are amazing. Please thank the volunteers. They unload them all and line them up. So you have to be pretty fast to beat the truck. However, that being said, when you roll in, if you're starved and you want to get out of your chamois, it might be easier to roll and get your little drop bag, which is going to be at the announcer booth, than it is to go and be among 400 totes and finding we do line the totes up organized, but looking for your tote 407 or whatever, 125 among all of those totes. So if you want to do the drop bag, that's totally great. It's easier mentally, I would think, if I was racing a long day, to roll in, grab that change, get my recovery, and then go deal with my camp and everything like that. And the other question was the drop bags right at the start. Technically, yes. The drop bags usually either go with me and I go before you guys start. That's the only issue. Or they'll go with Marty, who's our race announcer. We like to get them as early as possible, so we make sure we get all of them. We do run around the start line and make sure that everything's picked up. If you leave an extra jacket there, we'll pick it up and take it and bring it, and it'll go into the lost and found. But if you can, please try to drop your bag early. I do understand it might be cold in certain mornings. So, and you can always look for a breakaway person and give it to them and tell them to get it to the lost and found at the finish. We'll get your stuff to you.
Awesome. Thanks, Colleen. I think that
one quick thing I forgot. We have employed a chamois sheriff this year. An official chamois sheriff who's going to have water guns and an official sheriff badge. And they are going to be dressed up looking for you, making sure you get out of your chamois. Yeah. I'm not going to say who it is, but we do have an employed chamois sheriff. And
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, great. I don't have to take on that responsibility. I think as we get excited and get closer to race day, I think this is a great example of how Breakaway really wants all of us to have a great time. Everything from, if you leave a jacket, you're not going to lose it, to Schwalbe being there to make sure that you can keep, racing day after day, having the roller dogs, having Castelli there with, getting up early and starting the coffee. Like, these are the things that make Oregon Trail so special and so unique. And no matter if you come in first, you come in last, you get to have this like amazing experience. And also the post race vibes are rad. So hang out. Each camp has like a giant lounge. There'll be like inflatable chairs and music and snacks, and everyone is just hanging out. So make sure that you're going to be tired, but being part of the community is really what makes Oregon Trail special. For anyone who's interested, on Tuesday, before the race starts, we have 2 shakeout rides. One is hosted by Special Blend Gravel. It's at 10 o'clock from the 7th Mountain Resort. You have to RSVP. So that link's been going around. So if you're interested in that, we're just going to do a 12-mile loop. It is primarily dirt, and while only a tiny bit is actually on course, it'll give you a good feel for the conditions that you're going to encounter both on stage 1 and stage 5. And later in the afternoon, I think at 2, Argonaut Cycles is doing another shakeout ride, and that is in conjunction with a tour of their bike building facility. So if you're interested in Argonaut, a brand that builds bikes in Bend, Oregon, that's your afternoon option. 3:30 from 7th Mountain. Thanks, Colleen. In regards to bringing your own camp chair, no, you don't need to bring your own camp chair. There are going to be tons of camp chairs available that Breakaway provides, as well as some of our sponsors will have these blow-up couches and other things. Hot water will be available for beverages at all times. Is that still the plan? I don't know if at all times. Colleen, do you want to tackle that?
We're definitely
question?
gonna have hot water in addition to the coffee in the morning. We have a tea set up, and then at dinner time, I'll make sure it gets set back up because I'm a nighttime tea person. So we'll have a little setup post dinner that you can go over and get some hot tea and everything. If you need it at some other point in time, just come and find me. We'll figure it out.
Awesome. Thanks, Colleen. There was one other question about laundry or washing facilities. And yes, you could wash your chamois in the shower. Again, don't recommend it. In Oak Ridge, there's probably a laundromat, and we are doing an overnight there. But the last thing that you want to do is try to figure out how to wash your chamois. You've put so much time and energy in preparing for this event. Get the equipment that you need to make sure that you have the best experience. Don't be stressed by, I got to go find a laundromat. Oh my gosh, I got to sit in the laundromat. Oh, do I dry my chamois? My chamois is not dry. It is a stressful week, and the days go by really fast. And I think the easier you can make it on yourself and the less things that you have to think about, the better. So I would say if you're a chamois short, just make the investment and get a new one. The driver guide, I believe, was going to be posted later this week. I saw an email about that. Colleen, do you want to tackle that one? Tonight. Driver guide will be posted tonight. And that's great because it gives not only the routes that you need to take, because you're obviously not, the drivers are not riding on the race course, but also some fun things to see along the way. So the drivers can experience some of what Oregon has to offer. I've lived in Oregon for a very long time, and it's a very special place. So we as cyclists get to see Oregon from such an amazing vantage point and ride roads that you normally would never get to ride due to how remote they are. And hopefully the drivers can also have an awesome experience. Let's see. Just looking at the questions. Yeah, I think putting your kit in the Ziplocs is a great idea. And Christine alluded to this, and now Jeffrey is as well. Make sure you keep your dirty stuff separate from your clean stuff. And then when you get home, make sure you have OxyClean on hand, because when you open those Ziploc bags, you're going to be like, oh, so you're going to want to do a pre-soak. But it's all worth it because it's such a great, great week. I think that's all we have. Anybody want to add anything or have any other questions? All right, awesome. Well, Matt, Sean, and Christine, thank you so much. Colleen, thanks for being here. And I hate to say this, but I'm going to. If you have questions, email Colleen. If the person who answers all of the general inquiry emails is Colleen. Yeah. So she's the real person on the other side of those emails. And if you aren't camping in Oak Ridge, you do need to let someone know, and there is a time penalty for sleeping off-site. Just so that you know, 5 minutes per stage will be added to your time if you are not on site overnight. So that's no problem. Just make sure that just make sure that you let someone know in case for whatever reason we need to contact you. See, shoot Colleen an email. She's got all the answers. Cool. All right. Anything I missed? Cool. All right. Well, hopefully we'll see you Tuesday for one of the shakeout rides, and then Wednesday morning in Sisters. If you have not signed up for the shuttle, please, please, please do. The race does not start and end in the same place. So you don't want to be standing at the 7th Mountain at 9 o'clock on Wednesday morning, because you will be in the wrong place. So we start at Sisters High School on Wednesday, and we end at 7th Mountain Resort in Bend on Sunday. Okay, awesome. Well, thanks everybody. Have a great weekend. Happy 4th of July, and we'll see you next week. What time is the start? 9 o'clock, Wednesday morning. Good question.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
Bye. Thanks, Christine.